Welcome everybody. I'm back. Been up over what? um, how long I've been up? Over 35 hours or something, 36 hours without sleep. So I just thought I'd give you an update. Yeah, I've been texting people, showing the progress on Facebook, and people are wondering what's going on. Haven't been able to address anything on YouTube, so I'm streaming just the YouTube and the and Facebook. So it's just been quite a day. So, something you don't want to do, or go through. But amazing things is that I still need prayer. Sharon really needs prayer. I found out what happened to her, and uh, she had a lethal heart attack. That's a special kind of heart attack that hits sudden, unexplained, in the most unlikely places. Sometimes it's genetic, and other times it's caused by something that happened in, say, 2021 with a, and I have to mince my words here. It's weird. You have to self-censor yourself. Uh, it's a certain VARS, one or one niner, that was released when it's many varmints, or you can fill in the blanks. And if me and my wife did not have we never got the stuff put into us. But there's been new data coming out that if you catch COVID, um, certain areas of your body are affected, and a lot of if you did get the pinprick, you're most likely to have this happen. But you can get it if this happens, and it's called lethal heart attack, and it damages the heart in a particular place, so it doesn't pump right. So uh, I knew about that when I heard about it earlier this morning, or I talked to a nurse. I can't identify the individual. He said, yeah, pretty much they seen many of this, and they don't know if we got the pinprick or not. We did not. And so my wife had it a year ago, pretty bad, end of December through January. She almost died of it then. But I had her hydrated, got somebody come in and do hydration, and she recovered. I want to personally thank Greg Morgan for that. He gave the advice and got us a person who does the hydration therapy, and saved my wife's life back then. So she never fully recovered from it. She had the long symptoms of this imaginary disease that you can't say the name of without being your channel taken off. And so that's what only thing I can say is what caused it, because when my wife's family got there, the doctor asked him, "Do you have anybody like this that had that happen?" No. They had people with older people with congestive heart failure, but not a lethal heart attack that hits sudden and you drop. And that's that fast. So that is what happened. So that evening we were exercising. We just finished our exercise routine, and my wife wanted to run up the hill, and I didn't want to run up the hill. I said this before. I had a blister on my heel, so I just walked over to the car because I didn't want to, aggravate it too much, and got the water bottles out to go meet her. And I saw her walking down the hill. The next thing I know, I didn't see her, and I saw some legs flopping around, and I ran up the hill, and she was unresponsive. And she's foaming at the mouth. I turned her over. I have ample first aid training and CPR training. with the sheriff's department. I'm retired, through injury, and all that stuff kicks in. So I turned her appropriately, rightly on her side where she could get the stuff out of her mouth. And then I got called 911, and they wanted to know how she was breathing. I said 2 second, three to four. When I said 4 seconds, they said turn her on her back and do compressions nonstop. Don't stop until the paramedics are on their way. I could hear the sirens. So I don't know. My wife was looking at me, and she glazed over eyes. She wasn't there. She was gone. So I closed her eyes and started compressions. I did that for 10 minutes without stopping, and that's hard. By the end of it, I was wore out, and the paramedics came. They got a pulse. They got her into the hospital. I drove myself home. My wife's brother came, his and his wife came and picked me up from the house. Went over there, and then they were doing their work, and everything seemed to be going real good. It seemed like she was recovering. It really did. So I went home, got dropped off, and I couldn't sleep. I wound up, and I thought, wow, she's going to make it. And then all of a sudden, I get the phone call at 3 in the morning. I start playing my guitar, singing some songs I wrote. There's one I wrote, and it's my copyright. It's also in my book, and it's my copyright in my own book. So, and Destiny has permission for me for them to print it in there. So I started singing "Cold, um, Cold Harbor," the song I wrote, and then I get the um, call. I had to get in there, and 4 or 5 days ago, I can't even remember now. It's all a blur. My wife and I were talking about DNRs and getting our wills and getting burial plans. I mean, when you get a certain age, you start talking that way. And so, yeah, we kind of blew it off. Yeah, we did. And so um, her wishes were not to be resuscitated. She doesn't want to be a vegetable, and that is mine as well. I don't want to be a vegetable. That was my own mom's as well. When my mom had two drop dead heart attacks, she did not want to be resuscitated. No one could find the DNR. I had to go back to my mom's house, find it, bring it back, and then I had to give it in the morning. But before I went, I prayed for my mom, and when the nurse came in and telling me the same thing that the doctor said about my mom was not going to be able to recover, there'd be no chance of her recovery. Um, Prayed for her. I don't know what I prayed. She made a full recovery. She lived 12 more years after that. It was only in the last 6 months where she fractured her femur that she went downhill so fast. Before that, at 27 months, she was at, celebrating her 90th birthday, pretty alive. My sister would go off for the weekends and leave my mom there and do her thing. My mom was perfect. She was able to take care of herself. It wasn't until the last few months of that time period that she needed full-time care. So I just wanted to pray for my wife. Maybe I said, God, could you do the same thing? And I just solicit all your prayers. I'm still believing for a miracle. She's in end of life breath stage. We don't know how long this will last. I came home, and I'm just going to try to go to sleep, get some rest. I'm exhausted, and try to get back there as soon as possible. And it was good to have my wife's family there. I don't really have any family here at all. No one, closest family's 500 miles away, and they've been alienated, um, not by me, but by something else. I won't get into that. But so spent the day with them and had to make all the phone calls. And so the doctors told me basically in early this morning, real AM-ish, 3 a.m., that she's not going to make it. They're required to do a surgery, but she won't live through it. And we know about your DNR, what you talked. We will accept that, and because that's your wife's wishes. And do you really want to do that? So I signed the papers, and yeah, because that's what she didn't want to be, a vegetable. She had blood on the brain as well, so and her oxygen's real low, just like my mom's. But I know a miracle can happen. I've seen it with my mom. My mom came through, and she and my mom didn't understand why. When she came back, she didn't know what happened. She came back, got up talking, pulled out her breathing tube, and started talking. Where am I? I'm praying that the same thing will happen with Sharon. They took the breathing tube out. None of the medications were working. They gave her blood thinners, top of the line, the highest doses you can get to stabilize her heart. All kinds of IV stuck in her. And the heart was not working right because that is a lethal heart attack caused by this imaginary stuff that happened that they won't let you talk about. If you, and that's why you have athletes and stuff dropping. Foreign people like in the UK or Sweden or other studies have already proven this. Our, our Pfizer controlled people don't. Um, so, so I don't, she's at the end of life. Don't know how long. I'm praying for a miracle. You can continue to pray. But I turned it over to the Lord. I had a confirmation from some people, some great pastors, and I know in South Dakota, Terry and Diane Botchin, Faith Christian Center up there, and wonderful man and woman of God, and they know how to pray. They know how they've seen healings and stuff similar to things I've seen, probably more. Had them pray, and they confirmed that I gotta let her go. I told her there, and I wrote this little poem on Facebook for you guys. Maybe I'll put it in the description. And that was my goodbye. And I kissed her, told her it's okay to go if it's time, and I'll let the family come and do their thing, her immediate family. So now I identified who the real conjurers were, the gaslighters of 2020 and 2021 and 2022. Directly, indirectly, but directly motivated by a cult. I hope to do a teaching and continue this series on the occult. I'm determined to, I don't care anymore. No longer care. And so I'm just going to shoot it out there. I'm not getting very many views because of the algorithms decrease my. So anyway, I ain't shutting up. I'm going to preach. I'm going to preach the gospel still. Sorry, folks. I ain't dead yet. I know some people would like for me to be dead. I know some individual that hates my guts with a passion. And I know some others that would like to bury me quick. They made it known to me in many different ways. YouTubers, so forth, etc. It's crazy. And so But anyway, so just keep me in prayer. And I have my friend Dave Middleton was my best friend at my wife and I's wedding. He's staying in the guest room tonight. I'm very hard to be by myself right now. 'Cause I don't have anyone close to that that could help me. So he's here, and I'm gonna try to sleep in the master bedroom with our new bed that my wife and I bought. I got to get over this and conquer this. So just pray with me, and I'm just praying that when I wake up tomorrow or wake up tonight, I don't get a phone call, but I get there and she's talking just like my mom was, chatting away while they're draining the fluid out of her lungs. That was a miracle. She was risen from literally a comatose state, dead. And I don't even remember what I prayed, but I prayed similar tonight for my wife, the best I could. Um, so I'm a little saddened, but the most remarkable thing happened near the end of it. I was getting kind of, all of a sudden, I know you guys praying for me, so I want to thank everybody praying. The most fantastic peace filled that room. I was by myself with my wife holding her hands. Her hands are turning blue now. Some of you know what I'm talking about. And I was holding her hands. And a great peace that surpasses knowledge filled me. Still have it. I'm still sad, but I have that peace. Many years ago, I think it was 22, before of the illness event occurred that you can't talk about. It's highly illegal to talk about it. Happened. I had a dream. I talked to a friend of mine today about it. He lost his wife, and I had to talk to him because how do you handle it? And so I told him about my dream, and I told my wife this dream after I had it. I said, gosh, I was out someplace, and this guy in the parking lot who was not exactly a Christian or whatever, we were talking, and he was kind of hostile but open to the message, and we were talking. I was going to my car, and he's going his way, and suddenly I was zapped in the air, literally. I was taken up, zapped up, and a lot of other people were too. They call it a rapture dream. Okay, this type of dream that I have is a certain ambiance and feel to it. I can't explain it. I get them very rarely. I've talked about some of them I had in a few week period, and all these type of dreams have come true. And this one puzzled me because I remember when I got up to the hallway to the wedding banquet in heaven. I said, "Where is Sharon?" And so so I start walking around all the people that made it up there in the rapture. And so we were walking around, and I turned the corner, and there she was. And the door opened, and we walked hand in hand into the wedding chapel. So I told my wife that. She asked me a question, where was I? I said, you must have been at home, because you don't come with me sometimes when I minister locally and stuff. You stay home, and that's fine. It's our agreement. Sometimes I travel 500-600 miles to go minister. She stays at home because she likes to. Um, she has, so and that's what I thought. Now I know better. She goes before me. Um, so I found great peace in that. And that is how it went. I still have the peace, but I'm a little upset. As you can see, I want to try to get some sleep, try to eat something, and do that. So God speaks to us in dreams, tries to tell us of things to come, just like Job, I think it's chapter 33 or 32 talks about, and he does. I just misinterpreted it because I didn't understand it. Now I do. He prepared me for this. I had lots of confirmations on this as well. Um, I hope to post a picture of me and my wife if I can find it. I know it's at my parents' house, but I'll probably never ever see that picture ever again. A few other pictures I wanted, but I digress. I do have a copy of it here if I can find it. I want to take a photograph of it and show you what we look like about a year after we got married down in Pound, Virginia area in Southwest Virginia, where my grandparents' farm was. And we went on this trail. I think it's going down. It's in between Big Stone Gap and Pound. If you know the area, you know what I'm talking about. Somewhere there is a trail. We walked up. There's a waterfall. Me and wife were sitting there. She has a big, beautiful brown eyes and a nice little smile. You'll see why I fell in love with her. That was my brown-eyed girl. So I'm a little upset about these, Mr. Science and his witty inventions and the havoc they cause. You know, that is the work of the occult. I'm not kidding you. We think of sticking pins in dolls, so I'm not going to get into that. But that's part of it. But this is a lot headier, a lot more in your face than you realize. So, anyway, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. I'm going to get myself cleaned up, take a shower, try to get some sleep, eat some fruit, and just keep praying for me. I'm still believing for a miracle, but I left this in God's hands too tonight. Sometimes you just have to do that. Many people verified that, and sometimes we just got to just roll with the punches, as my dad would say. So with that, I want to thank you all for praying for me. And again, I'm just going to end this video with my usual end scene clip here. No reason, it's just I just use it. This is a place where me and my wife hike. There's a picture up there. I use it for a background to put all the information up there. But that's a snowy range. We were up there on her birthday, August 18th of this year. She had the best birthday she ever had because I got her the best presents. The first time I ever got all the presents right. She loved this blouse I got her, and it fit. Now the presents stare at me. It's hard. Who knows? We we came back on Monday, rested, and on Tuesday this happened. Actually, it would be the 20th. I put the 21st on the other video. Sorry, folks. Just stressed out. So with that, we were going to hike in the mountains up here in the snowy range, but it was 58 degrees with a high wind chill. It was too windy. It was too cold, so we just came on home. So, just keep us in prayer. With that, I'm going to go ahead and sign off, and you guys be blessed in Jesus' name.